Military power in Africa. Countries in the continent have been investing heavily in the defense sector to tackle the growing threats from insurgencies and terror attacks.
Now, military spending across Africa rose sharply in 2023, with countries like the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan leading the surge.
Of African nations in terms of trade and investment. But Beijing is now expanding this partnership into the defense sector as well.
From the deserts of Egypt to the jungles of the Congo, Africa isn't just rich in gold, oil, or diamonds, it's packing firepower. While the rest of the world's arguing about who's got the best coffee or Wi-Fi, African nations are quietly stacking tanks, training elite forces, and flexing defense budgets that could make your favorite superhero franchise jealous. Today, we're diving into the top 15 African countries with the strongest militaries, ranked by the 2025 Global Firepower Index. Grab your popcorn, because some of these armies could give Hollywood action movies a run for their money. We're talking manpower, equipment, logistics, and budgets. Basically, who can throw the hardest punch and still have enough left to reload. Let's march in. Boots first, starting with number 15, where quiet strength meets strategic patience. Number 15, Tanzania. Tanzania may not be shouting from rooftops, but its military presence speaks volumes. With a power index of 2.94 and around 26,000 active personnel, the Tanzanian People's Defense Force is like a Swiss Army knife. Small, efficient, and always ready. Their arsenal? A mix of tanks, artillery, and aircraft from Russia, China, and the US. Basically, the global buffet of military suppliers. They're trained for everything: dense jungle warfare, coastal defense, and peacekeeping in Africa's toughest regions. Even their modest navy patrols the Indian Ocean like a hawk guarding its nest. Tanzania isn't the type to start a fight, but they'll definitely finish one. But if you think Tanzania's calm composure is impressive, wait till you meet number 14, where discipline meets determination and small doesn't mean soft. Number 14, Tunisia. With a power index of 2.36, Tunisia proves that size isn't everything. The 36,800-strong Tunisian armed forces are laser-focused, battle-tested, and allergic to chaos. Years of fighting insurgents along the Libyan and Algerian borders have turned Tunisia's troops into desert specialists. Think Mad Max, but with better uniforms. Their gear, courtesy of the US, Europe, and China. Because why settle for one sugar daddy when you can have three? The Tunisian Navy patrols the Mediterranean with fast attack boats that keep smugglers up at night, while their cyber and NATO collaborations show Tunisia's not just playing defense, they're playing 4D chess in digital warfare. Now, if Tunisia's all about precision and partnerships, number 13 is about real-world experience, the kind earned through actual battle, not just parade practice. Number 13, Mozambique, power index 2.16. Mozambique is the comeback story of Southern Africa. With 11,200 active troops and a growing air wing, this nation's armed forces have evolved through fire, literally. The insurgency in Cabo Delgado didn't break them, it built them. Supported by Rwanda and the Southern African Development Community, Mozambique's soldiers turned chaos into combat expertise. Their navy may be small, but it guards a massive Indian Ocean coastline. And more importantly, the country's booming offshore gas fields. Each patrol boat isn't just defending water, it's defending billions in natural wealth. But if Mozambique's the rising underdog, number 12 is the hardened veteran, a landlocked warrior feared across deserts and battlefields. Number 12, Chad Chad, the desert's undefeated gladiator. With a power index of 1.28 and around 30,350 active soldiers, Chad doesn't need a coastline to dominate. They've got grit, speed, and decades of battlefield experience. Their arsenal? Tanks, artillery, and choppers from France, China, and Russia. Because when you fight in the Sahel, you bring friends with heavy machinery. Chad's army has been the backbone of anti-terror operations from Mali to Lake Chad, earning respect the old-fashioned way, through sheer endurance. And let's be real, any country that commands regional influence without a navy deserves applause. That's like showing up to a Formula One race on a dirt bike and still overtaking Ferraris. But hold on to your helmets. The next few countries bring warplanes, warships, and wallets fat enough to buy their own action movies. The firepower's about to go full throttle. Number 11, Kenya. Welcome to East Africa's military powerhouse, Kenya. With a power index of 1.56, the Kenya Defense Forces are as professional as they come, sharp, disciplined, and always mission-ready. Their 24,000 active troops are seasoned from years of real operations, especially against Al-Shabaab militants along the Somali border. You could say Kenya's troops have more field time than your favorite soccer team. Their arsenal? Everything from battle tanks and armored vehicles to fighter jets, attack choppers, and patrol craft, sourced from the US, China, and Europe. And their navy? Oh, they patrol the Indian Ocean like it's a private swimming pool, keeping ports like Mombasa safe and smugglers nervous. Kenya isn't just defending its borders, it's shaping the region's stability, leading peacekeeping missions and joint operations. In East Africa, they're the go-to big brother everyone wants on speed dial. But if Kenya's the regional guardian, number 10 is the unpredictable veteran, scarred by conflict, rebuilt by resilience. Number 10, Libya. Libya's story is straight out of an action movie: chaos, rebellion, and an army that just refuses to quit. With a power index of 1.32 and around 30,000 active personnel, Libya's forces may be fractured politically, but militarily, still a force to be reckoned with. Their arsenal includes tanks, artillery, and fighter jets, much of it left from the Gaddafi era, plus some modern toys from Russia, Turkey, and the UAE. Years of civil war turned Libya's troops into experts in both desert and urban warfare. You could drop them in the middle of a sandstorm and they'd still find a way to win. And though their navy's modest, it keeps watch over the Mediterranean coastline and oil terminals. Because in Libya, controlling oil means controlling power. Despite political chaos, Libya's raw military capability keeps it firmly on the map. If Libya's the veteran of conflict, number 9 is the heavyweight with manpower to spare, a nation that could fill an entire stadium with soldiers and still have subs in reserve. Number 9, Sudan. Sudan's military is huge, and I mean huge. With a power index of 1.26 and a staggering 104,000 active troops, the Sudanese armed forces are one of Africa's largest. This army was built in the fires of internal conflict and regional warfare, from Darfur to the Blue Nile, and it shows. Their soldiers have desert combat down to a science. Their infantry, tanks, rocket launchers, and fighter jets, mostly from Russia, China, and Iran. Not exactly lightweight suppliers. And even though Sudan's been through political turmoil, its military machine keeps rolling. Its navy guards the Red Sea coast and strategic ports like Port Sudan, vital lifelines for trade and energy routes. When it comes to endurance, Sudan's military doesn't blink. It's been fighting, rebuilding, and adapting for decades. But while Sudan has numbers, number 8 has something even more valuable: strategy and size, backed by serious minerals and manpower. Number 8, Democratic Republic of the Congo. The DRC, or as military analysts like to call it, the sleeping giant of Central Africa. With a power index of 1.30 and a whopping 134,000 active troops, the Forces Armées de la République démocratique du Congo are built for endurance across one of the world's toughest terrains. The Congo's army has one main job: internal security. With rebel groups running amok in the east, the FARDC has spent years perfecting counterinsurgency and jungle warfare. They're like the special forces of survival, operating in rainforests where GPS cries for help. Their hardware may not be cutting edge, but their manpower and growing cooperation with UN and foreign partners are transforming them fast. And with a country rich in minerals and resources, the DRC's long-term military potential is enormous. It's not a matter of if they rise higher on this list, but when. And speaking of rise, number 7 doesn't just rise, it soars, with jets, frigates, and a royal force that knows exactly how to command attention. Number 7, Morocco. At lucky number 7, Morocco comes in like a chess player with tanks. With a power index of 1.12 and over 310,000 personnel, including reserves, the Royal Moroccan Armed Forces are polished, powerful, and proudly modernized. They've got American F-16, French Mirage F-1, and a land army that's got more armored vehicles than a Fast and Furious sequel. Morocco isn't just defending borders, it's defending influence at the crossroads of Europe, West Africa, and the Atlantic. And their navy, sleek frigates, corvettes, and patrol vessels cruise both the Atlantic and the Mediterranean like a two-ocean insurance policy. Morocco's strategic position makes it a must-watch power in North Africa, a country that's not flexing aimlessly, but thinking 10 moves ahead. If Morocco is the strategist, number 6 is the muscle, fueled by oil money, built on ambition, and armed to the teeth. Number 6, Angola. Angola's military runs on oil, grit, and serious hardware. With a power index of 1.09 and roughly 107,000 active troops, the Angolan armed forces have one of the most modern setups south of the Sahara. They've got Russian-made Su-30 fighter jets, MiG-23s, and a ground force that could make even veteran generals nod in respect. And when you've got oil cash pouring in, upgrading tanks and artillery is just another Tuesday. The Navy patrols Angola's Atlantic coast, protecting offshore oil platforms like they're royal treasures. Recently, Angola has poured millions into military infrastructure and foreign partnerships, quietly building one of Southern Africa's most capable forces. If Angola is the oil-rich powerhouse, number 5 is the ancient warrior, where history, resilience, and strategy collide in one of the continent's most battle-tested armies. Number 5, Ethiopia. Ethiopia doesn't just have an army, it has legacy. With a power index of 0.93 and around 150,000 active troops, the Ethiopian National Defense Force is built on centuries of military pride. These are the same people who defeated colonial powers when almost no one else did. Today, that same grit powers an army skilled in mountain warfare, counterinsurgency, and rapid mobilization. The ENDF may not have the flashiest tech, but it has something far more dangerous: discipline. These troops have fought rebels, border wars, and regional conflicts, and they keep coming back stronger. Their air force operates transport planes, helicopters, and fighter jets, but Ethiopia's biggest weapon remains its unshakable will to defend its sovereignty. If Ethiopia is the seasoned veteran, number 4 is the tech genius, where training meets technology and every soldier moves like they've read the manual twice. Number 4, South Africa. Now we're talking precision, innovation, and firepower that looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. With a power index of 0.48, the South African National Defense Force stands as one of Africa's most technologically advanced militaries. They've got about 74,500 active personnel, including elite special forces who train like they're auditioning for a Jason Bourne reboot. Their arsenal includes modern tanks, advanced artillery, and Swedish-made Gripen fighter jets that slice through the sky with terrifying efficiency. And the South African Navy? It's a showstopper. Miko-class frigates, Heroine-class submarines, and patrol vessels guarding 2 oceans. Add to that a booming domestic defense industry, producing everything from armored vehicles to drones. And you've got a country that doesn't just buy weapons, it builds them. South Africa's military doesn't shout, it demonstrates precision, professionalism, and presence. It's the kind of force that makes allies proud and enemies nervous. If South Africa's the engineer, number 3 is the enforcer, huge, experienced, and armed with both firepower and purpose. Number 3, Nigeria. Now we enter heavyweight territory. And Nigeria doesn't just bring muscle, it brings momentum. With a power index of 0.56 and around 223,000 active personnel, Nigeria fields West Africa's largest and busiest military. These guys aren't strangers to combat. They've been fighting Boko Haram, ISWAP, pirates in the Gulf of Guinea, and about 5 other problems before breakfast. Their army rolls with tanks, rocket systems, and armored vehicles. Their air force brings fighter jets and attack helicopters, and their navy. It's one of the strongest south of the Sahara, armed with missile ships and patrol craft, guarding oil routes like gold mines. Nigeria also has one of the most active domestic defense industries in Africa, cranking out everything from armored carriers to surveillance drones. It's not just about protecting borders. Nigeria's military is a regional firefighter, peacekeeper, and power broker all at once. If Nigeria's the regional enforcer, number 2 is the fortress, armed to the teeth, calm under pressure, and backed by one of Africa's biggest defense budgets. Number 2, Algeria. Algeria is Africa's silent juggernaut, low on words, high on war machines. With a power index of 0.43 and roughly 130,000 active soldiers, the Algerian People's National Army stands as one of the most heavily armed forces on the continent. This is a country that spent decades mastering desert warfare and counter-terror operations, fine-tuning its military like a precision instrument. Their arsenal is a museum of modern power. Russian T-90 tanks, Sukhoi jets, attack helicopters, submarines, and advanced air defense systems that could ruin anyone's weekend plans. The Navy is elite too, with Kilo-class submarines and Meko-class frigates protecting the Mediterranean coast and offshore gas infrastructure. And let's not forget Algeria's defense budget, consistently one of Africa's largest. When it comes to military modernization, Algeria isn't just keeping up, it's setting the bar. So, who could possibly top that? Only number 1, a country whose military might extend beyond Africa's borders, bridging continents and rewriting what power looks like. Number 1, Egypt, the crown jewel, the titan of the Nile. Egypt stands tall as Africa's undisputed military heavyweight. With a jaw-dropping power index of 0.22, Egypt ranks not only first in Africa, but among the world's top global forces. The Egyptian armed forces boast around 438,000 active personnel and nearly 500,000 in reserves. That's an army so large it could fill stadiums in multiple cities simultaneously. Their arsenal reads like an international shopping spree. American F-16, French Rafales, Russian MiG-29s, German submarines, and domestically built warships and armored vehicles. Egypt's air force is Africa's largest, modern, fast, and deadly. Its navy operates helicopter carriers, submarines, and frigates, guarding both the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. Add decades of combat experience, billion-dollar defense partnerships, and a budget that dwarfs most nations. And you've got a force that doesn't just defend Africa's doorstep, it owns it. Egypt's military isn't just about power, it's about projection. From regional diplomacy to peacekeeping to full-scale operations, Egypt sets the standard. When they move, everyone else pays attention. And there you have it, the top 15 African countries with the strongest militaries in 2025. From Tanzania's quiet confidence to Egypt's global dominance, the continent is arming up, fast. Each nation's military tells a story of resilience, ambition, and evolution in a world that's paying more attention to Africa's might than ever before. So, which army surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and while you're at it, hit that like button like a tank shell and subscribe for more deep dives into power, geopolitics, and the rising forces shaping the world. Because one thing's clear, Africa's not just in the game anymore, it's changing it.